Okay, so I just watched Lucy, went to the theaters, paid money, all that. Been waiting for this movie for a really long time, and saw a lot of previews. I try not to see a lot of the previews because I didn't want it tainted in my head. I didn't want to get it way above where it could go in my head, so that way it didn't have a choice to be a disappointment. End up seeing the trailers anyway. Facebook, social media in general and stuff. It throws this stuff at you. Hard not to look when you're actually interested. So I saw a lot of stuff. And of course it got big in my head. Um I feel still like I was only expecting what the trailers led me to expect though. I mean, the trailer gave away most of the movie. And then with each trailer that kept coming out, it gave you different portions specifically telling you what was happening. And they were all pretty much key parts of the movie. So the bulk of the story I already knew going in. Now, with movies, I get disappointed generally a lot. Again, I get it in my head. It becomes, so big in my head that it can't live up to that. And it's not their fault. That's my fault for expecting something of it that it wasn't trying, you know, expectations that it didn't give me. It wasn't trying to give me. So I am always trying to look for something that I can latch on to and then just accept the movie as a whole for what it is and stuff. To latch on to something I can be like, that made the movie good, or just a basis. The basis for the movie, I'll judge off of that. Some movies like The Expendables. If you watch The Expendables and you go for a storyline, why would you? It's The Expendables. It's a bunch of old dudes. I mean, they know what it is. We know what it is. You don't watch that for the story. You watch that for the action, maybe a little bit of comedy, nostalgia. But you know that the Grindhouse movies and stuff, Planet Terror, Machete. These are not movies to be taken seriously, and you know that going in. And so with this movie, since I already knew a lot of the plot, I like the plot. I'm a sci-fi guy. I like that kind of thing. I felt it was more or less plausible in the sense of that world and how it worked or whatever and stuff. There's a lot of things we don't know about in this world, and so you don't really know the effects of it in certain conditions and whatnot and stuff. You don't test these things because why would you? And just blah blah. Things we don't know could be because we don't know. It's not. Mm. So Lucy, when the title came out, I was thinking, oh, I wonder if this has something to do with the missing link Lucy. But then seeing the trailers, anything I heard about this, like that, there was no connection or anything like that, so I didn't think that it was gonna be a thing and stuff. Whatever. I thought, oh, okay, it must just happen to be the name, and I'm connecting that and whatever. But it actually ended up being a thing and stuff. It was not a plot point, I guess, but it was a theme run out throughout the movie and stuff like that, or whatever. It was even actually mentioned in the movie in the stupidest way, which was probably the first problem I had with the movie and stuff like that. But again, I'm a big critic and stuff. I already know in my head that this movie needs to be perfect because the previews led me to believe that it's gonna be perfect, and I got carried away, whatever and stuff. So I pushed it out of my head or whatever. A cowboy guy says, the first woman's name was Lucy. Isn't that funny? I just read all that stuff, and I'm like, who the fuck cares? Why? Who cares? Where did that come from? Why would you tell her that? You didn't care. You didn't have any kind of follow up to it. There was no reason to say it. You might as well just looked right in the camera and be like, yeah, we made the connection. Whatever. Again, little thing. doesn't really matter. But it confirmed that I was, what I had thought of before when I thought I passed it through my mind. Turns out I was right. But okay, she's trying to get away. He handcuffs her to the briefcase or whatever, and I'm like, okay, the third time that this nigga grabbed you and pulled you back, how did it not send an alarm like, oh, this man has a problem. This is a bad situation. Let me get out of here before I get raped. Because I mean, it uses me. It's like I jumped rape a lot. It's like that. I don't want to get raped, big fear, and I feel like other people should feel like that too. But whatever. I mean, I just personally, if you trying that hard to get me to do something, I need to know you better than have dated for a week to think that this won't end up bad for me. And of course, the things that I'm saying and stuff, you won't have a lot of knowledge to if you see the movie and whatnot and stuff. You won't have the context, you can't picture in your head and whatnot and stuff. But just whatever. More than likely, people won't watch this until after the movie anyway, because nobody wants to ruin it for themselves. So I'm saying, don't watch it. I'm saying don't watch it. If you watch this before you watch the movie, I'm saying don't watch it. But I'll explain why in this video, and then you can go for yourself and stuff, or you can judge for yourself, whatever stuff. Because I'm a harsh critic, stuff. They said it or whatever. I'm a harsh critic because I give movies a lot of leeway, and so when it can't even live up to what the little bit that I gave them and stuff, like one thing, just one thing, give me one thing that I can theme this movie on, and I'm good. One thing. I don't think that's a lot to ask. I don't think that's a lot to ask. And so, alright, get back to this, or get past all whatever. So he does, he handcuffs her arm, her wrist and stuff to the briefcase and stuff, and sends her in there, whatever. She's in there, she's acting all scared or whatever and stuff, and that all makes sense, whatever and stuff. He gets shot, show a little thing of the cheetah getting the gazelle and stuff. I thought that was pretty funny and stuff as she with the gazelle and whatnot. I thought the timing was off on the sinking or whatever and stuff between the two scenes, but whatever, again, little thing. Did she get in the elevator, whatever stuff? They shot him. He died. He was right out the window. Good. I hated that guy. Just from that one part with the, but she gets upstairs or whatever, and she's scared, like she should be. Makes sense. Now she's crying. It even has a little portion with her throwing up and stuff, because there's some dead bodies and stuff up in the room when she gets up there. With this kind of terror, yeah, she should be crying, maybe a little pee. Throwing up makes complete sense. Dead bodies there. You're pretty sure you're about to die for some stuff that you had nothing to do with. Yeah, now's the time to pee. Pride, shove it out the window. Pee all over yourself. Why not? You're about to die. Who cares? What, you gonna be embarrassed, nigga? So it's doing all this or whatever and stuff. Meanwhile, it's all over her face. Close-ups galore. Like the camera is here. The camera's here almost the whole time. And I'm like, this woman has all kinds of makeup on. Not one tear, no smudging of anything and stuff. These niggas could have sprayed her with something. Take a little bottle. Hit her with something. Some Visine. Boom. I mean, like, alright. I think she's a good actress. I felt like that scene, maybe she just wasn't feeling it. I don't know. I feel like people outside of her, though, should have been like, hey, should she be crying? Because I damn sure will be crying in this situation. There's tons of reasons to cry. Even as a grown-ass man. I'm a big-ass black dude. I be crying so bad for my mom, all this stuff. I be begging these people, let me go. Begging. With no shame. No shame at all. You shouldn't either. Get over that. It's life. So that bothered me a little bit and stuff, just because I'm like, okay, well, this is leading up to bad things and stuff, because I need people to act good. I need people to be talented in this and stuff for it to be portrayed right, because in my head, this movie is already so fantastic. I mean, you should have saw me trying to get people to watch this. I was serious. I bet on this movie. I was trying to get people to watch it like I had stock in it. Like me getting people there where it was gonna get me money. That's how I acted. So yeah, all that stuff with the acting or whatever. It just really bothered me. But again, I'm like, okay, whatever. At that point, though, I felt okay. Let me latch on to the action before I make this a bad movie in my head. I can't let this be a bad movie in my head because then I'm looking for things to go to that. I don't want that to happen. I want this to be a good movie. I paid money. I've been waiting for this for so long. This movie for so long. I want this to be good. Let me latch onto the action. As long as the action good, the rest of the movie is set. So it's going along whatever and stuff. They got her to open the briefcase. That whole scene was funny. They put up the shields and everything, and it made sense or whatever that this guy wouldn't want to open his briefcase by himself. Drugs in the briefcase, so open it or whatever and stuff. She's pleading with him. Makes sense. They knock her out, put the drugs inside of her while she's out, and then sew her back up and all this stuff. She wakes up, whatever. They explain it or whatever. Um, it's not looking like they had fantastic medical procedure involved and whatnot and stuff, facility and such. And so it's funny to me and stuff that she, got up. I don't know what the difference is in time and stuff. I don't know how long it was between when they knocked her out and then did all the surgery to put it in her and stuff like that. It's not like it was a lot of surgery, I guess. You open her stomach, put the drugs in, sewed her back up. Good for you. She was a little active, but whatever. So they explain this stuff, what's happening. She gotta go and take the plane back to where she's from, and then they'll meet her at the what's it called, airport and take the drugs out of her. So on the way, I guess, or whatever stuff they bag her stuff, they put her in the thing. I guess before she was gonna go, they put her in the cell or whatever and stuff until it's time for her to go or something. I don't know. I guess I don't really know what the point of her being in that room was, but she's in there. Guy comes in, feeling her boobs. Bad guys are always rapists. I feel like there's a line. I feel like you can commit crimes and not feel the need to go over the rape. I guess at the same time, if you're that deep in crime, like Hong Kong crime, maybe you just like whatever. And I watch Japanese anime. Them niggas, they only care so much. I guess in general, it's a little racist, but mm, I mean, if you're gonna make bad guys in this place, you want them to be the stereotype bad guys, though, which I guess might come a little late. But whatever, she's feeling or whatever and stuff, and he kicks her, drugs get loose. She goes through this whole thing, which again I didn't like and stuff. Like it was cool that she was all over the wall or whatever, but I would like to have seen her floating a little bit so it didn't seem like a cheesy movie effect, because it seemed like a cheesy movie effect with her all over the wall. So I'm like, okay, well, it's not really doing anything. She's on the floor, chain and dangling or whatever stuff. She's shaking all around or whatever and stuff. But the point is, immediately after all this happens, she goes through the changes and stuff, her eyes go blue and everything and stuff, whatever. She is instantly aware. She gets up, sits on a chair, she's waiting patiently. I guess her brain is going through the changes and whatnot, and she opens up. Yeah, she's thinking about this stuff. So guy comes in or whatever, another guy also coming in for what I believe was rape. Again, guys, really rapey, really rapey. And she opens up to him and stuff. This is her plan to open her legs or whatever and stuff. So he comes over, get close enough and stuff. She whip his ass and get out of there. Okay, but this sets off the theme that end up being through the whole movie, where she's gradually getting more and more open to her brain and higher functions then because of it. But right off the bat, right when it happened, she opened enough up to it improved her accuracy and stuff. She was shooting people or whatever and stuff. She was all hungry or whatever, so she was eating or whatever stuff. She took all the guns, What was her plan for all the guns and all the material that she took? Because all she did was go out there, get a cab, and go to the hospital. She was shot. She went to the hospital. She took the bullet out first like that. She ain't feel no pain. So she had immediate access to her pain receptors and stuff, her nerves and whatnot. So bullet there. And showed her go out there, shoot the guy. You can see it in the previews or whatever and stuff. To go to the cab. To go to the cab to go to the hospital. She goes to the hospital. She's walking in with a gun. This woman, I don't know where these places are in the world and stuff where you think you just walk up anywhere with a gun and nobody will notice because you're some person. Come on. I know that Americans get stuff construed into thinking everything is about them. Oh, it's a white blonde woman and stuff in the Korean place stuff. Everybody will notice her. No, it's a bunch of people with blonde hair, white people, and other places and stuff that is not going to be some crazy exotic thing and stuff. Not everybody's going to notice you. Whatever. But you carry a gun somewhere. Guns. People know guns. People know what guns look like. Guns are a world thing for the most part. You walk up in somewhere with a gun, nobody's gonna be like, "Oh, she got a gun. How about that?" No, it's not that kind of place. This is a hospital. This is not a black market hospital. This is not some van in an alley and stuff. This is not a club. This is a hospital. People notice this stuff. She walking and stuff, gun in hand and stuff, just chilling like nothing, whatever stuff. And she got this bag, whatever. She told the cab to wait there. I'll skip that. She told the cab to wait there and stuff. Turns out this nigga waited there. Hilarious to me because I'm like, well, how much fear you gotta have to let somebody go in the hospital for that long and then actually wait there because she shot somebody. She shot that man in the leg. As soon as she got in that door and stuff, I'm like, made it home tonight. Quit this job. I'm done. But anyway, walking there and stuff, got the gun. She shoots the man on the table because he wasn't gonna make it anywhere and stuff like that, which is another point and stuff like that. She looked at his brain chart and was able to map out and stuff and look at it and see that he was too far along to be able to be saved. She didn't have medical knowledge like that to access at that time. And she couldn't have got it from somewhere else because she wasn't that developed. Unless she was. Because since this set the precedence that she was that evolved, then it seems like later a lot of things that she should have been able to do a lot more, a lot quicker later. Because it doesn't make any sense that she would have that kind of access that quickly and then get stunted so badly later to not be able to do things. I guess you have to ask the director or the scriptwriter or whatever and stuff because I mean it's their world. It's their world. They can do whatever they want. If they have some kind of explanation for why that's the case, then hey, so be it. Because whatever you write and the reason that is that's what it is. Your creation. You dictate what is and what isn't. That's how it works. So fine dandy. So if he wants to put out something like this is what happened and stuff, it's like all right. But right now it's unexplained and so it bothers me. Shot the man, pushed him off the table, made the doctor take the drugs out of her and stuff. He said it was leaking or whatever and stuff. That's what was giving her the powers and everything. The drugs leaking in her body. She got kicked. And so he does that or whatever and stuff and tells her what it is and stuff. He tells her what the drug is. She knows the name. She tells him the name. He tells her what it actually is. She doesn't know. But that's what I'm saying. She didn't know then what this drug did or what it was and stuff. She just knew the name of it. But just now, she looked at a chart of a man's brain and was able to be like, oh, yeah, he's too far along and stuff. It's over or whatever and stuff. Like, you see the red lighting up or whatever and stuff. The red lit up in her head. That was her vision and stuff like that. So she had knowledge that she wouldn't have had access to unless she had the powers to get access to that after she got the powers and then, didn't know what the drug inside of her was. I don't like that. That's inconsistent to me. And that just happened. Alright. So that's inconsistent to me, whatever stuff. So that bothered me. These are things that wouldn't bother a lot of other people, but it bothers me because I like powers. I like abilities and stuff. I like special things, attributes or whatever and stuff. Skills. And that's what drew me to the movie in the first place. It was real heavy thing with me, that fantasy life and whatnot. And so that happens, whatever stuff. That bothered me. And she didn't know what it was. He explained it to her, whatever and stuff. She was like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. So she went home after getting the drugs removed and all this. Um, used the laptop. She's using the laptop, right? Okay. Now, using the laptop and stuff. She's darting through it or whatever and stuff. It shows the laptop, shows all kinds of stuff popping up in and out or whatever. And she's learning this stuff. And I'm like, all right, that's fine and dandy, except I'm wondering, how did the computer suddenly get better? The computer has no powers. The laptop, it's the laptop. It has the specs that it has. Even if she, because at this point, you find out that she has control over magnetic things, whatever stuff, slight control over stuff, over basic magnetics and whatnot. She tells Morgan Freeman on the computer after she learns everything about him and stuff. She calls him, shows that by controlling radio, whatever stuff, and showing herself stuff as proof that these things are happening that she's telling them, and that our brain is unlocking and everything and stuff. But the laptop, even if she was to like surge power into their stuff, whatever, it would essentially just be overclocking. And if she boosted the computer itself that much to do all the things that it's doing at one time, the computer would explode. It would explode. Computer's over. Laptop done. Done. It would have fried. It would have melted. It would have exploded. That doesn't work. You can't just transfer your power into something, the power that magnetic power and stuff into a computer and think that it's going to go, and this the computer can just do whatever and stuff. No, computer has capacity. You can't surge power like that into a computer and stuff and think that it's going to be all good. I mean, if you leave that kind of magnetic power and stuff like that, it will just, it wouldn't work. Bothered me, whatever. So she tells her roommate and stuff about her liver's failing and all this stuff. Again, more medical knowledge and stuff that I'm a little like, okay, where you get that from? But maybe she got that from all the stuff she's learned on the laptop that magically got better and stuff, whatever. Um, go ahead and stuff. She leaves. She asked him what she should do with this power that she has, because she knows that she doesn't have much time left. She's that far in her head and stuff. She knows where the progression is going to, and knows that it's not gonna be able to last. Her body is not. It's not gonna. It's not gonna work just like this or whatever for long, whatever. So she's thinking, what do I do with this and stuff? What do I do? Like, where is that? So he gives her ideas, stuff like that, share knowledge or whatever and stuff. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So she goes, she tells this cop or whatever about the other people that were in the office with the drugs in them and stuff, so they can catch them. More so is so she can get the drug itself, that she can stop these guys from spreading it, which I found funny because I didn't realize that was the case at first. When she first called the guy and told him about other people having the drugs, I'm thinking, okay, she's trying to stop the drug from spreading, contain this thing, take down the corporation or whatever stuff. No, she was she was planning on taking the drugs so she could use them, not to get high, to fix her power stuff, which you found out later is like that. She had the rejuice, as it were, so she could keep her stability, because then her cells were like, okay, well, I'm gonna fend for myself. You're trying to change this. We're not trying. Stop. All this stuff happens on the plane and stuff like that. It got crazy up in there. And I feel like that should have been kind of a big issue. People should have been freaking the hell out. We're talking about her body starts like coming apart, kind of disintegrating and flying through the air. The guy next to her choked on it. He choked on her hand particles. Gross. Whatever. But I feel like when this stuff start happening, people start noticing, people were watching everything, and nobody else freaked out really and stuff. Like the staff came, whatever, like, hey, in the bathroom, get out and stuff, whatever. Before that, they kind of chased her too in there. People in the other rows didn't really have a whole lot to say about it. And I'm like, after 9/11, people would have freaked. You can't do something like that on a plane. They think that it's gonna be that contained and stable. It's like, what talking about? People all over the plane would have freaked out because people in that cargo or in that section would have ran to other sections and be like, oh my god, there's a girl disintegrating over in coach. That's not okay. Everybody else would have freaked out. Oh my god, we're gonna die. It's terrorism, whatnot, whatever. But yeah, so that happened or whatever. So she's getting a drug. That's funny stuff. He stops her, so they become this kind of team or whatever after they get all their guys, or whatever. Because then she has to meet up with him to get the drugs and whatnot. But in between that or whatever, after she tells him about the guys, even before, because she had to find out where the guys were, she went up in the office of the drug guys that did it to her, that put her in the first place or whatever, to find the guy and find out where the other people went, because again she wanted the drugs and stuff. And so she went up in there, she's killing people, did it in a cool way, and then got to him. I guess this is where the equipment came into play, so that's why she had it. Because when she busted out, she took all the equipment. I'm like, what's she doing with that? She didn't know she was gonna go there to search for other drugs when she took that stuff. This was right after it happened. But how about that? It came into play and stuff. Who knew? Who would have guessed that she would be using it later at a time when she didn't know she was gonna have to. Whatever. So he takes the joints out stuff, stabs him through the hands and stuff while he's listening to his music and stuff. I actually like the music, but he pops up and stuff, and she's like, "Hey, blah blah," and stuff. She's talking to him and stuff, and I kind of like the way she did that and stuff. Whatever she the way she acted it out, I felt like that made sense. She was feeling a lot of things. She was sensing things. Her brain was open up and stuff at a crazy rate, and so all the new knowledge stuff would be distracting. It would take you away. You be in your head. You be inside your head like crazy stuff. How can you focus on anything else when something like that is happening in your head? You know, I like the way she did stuff. So she was kind of detached from, I don't want to say reality and stuff, but the moment, because she was more or less above that. You know, she was at a higher level than things of this importance. Blah, this is blah to her. Which is why she was able to kill with so much ease. So much ease. Like, she... Whatever. But, okay, so she did that, whatever stuff. She stabbed the guy in the hand stuff. He didn't tell her. She pressed her thumbs to his frontal lobe here and stuff like that, and kind of went into his memories and found out, which is weird to me. I felt like it would have made more sense for her to look inside of her memories of things that she wouldn't have remembered before, but now since she was in the same room with the passport stuff, she might have memories of these things and then be able to look at that stuff. But nope. One lobe, read his memories, saw where they were going or whatever stuff. She left that man alive. She killed all kinds of people getting to this man. I don't even see all kinds of it. Probably more than we saw, but she killed a bunch of people with no problems, no compassion or anything like that to get to this guy, to find this information or whatever. Why wouldn't she kill him too? How is that not the quote-unquote right thing to do? I mean, this guy is, he's not a good guy. You killed his henchmen just to get to him. You could have wounded them. With the power she had, she could have easily wounded them, and that would have been fine. I mean, for the most part, they were just henchmen. You threaten them, and they'd be like, "Oh, no, I don't get paid enough for this. Bye." And they could just say, "Oh, she beat me up. What do you want me to do?" Or else he'd be dead, and you could just be like, "Oh, he's dead. Time to get a day job." Whatever. But I feel like she should have killed him. I felt like that made no sense to not kill him, other than so he could be a problem later. He's an antagonist. He has to be there. Is that right? But that's stupid. Should have went down that way and stuff. She should have killed him. But whatever. So she found out. Cop. Team up. All this stuff. She's talking to Morgan Freeman, who I forget his name in the movie or whatever stuff. But she's talking to him and stuff throughout it and whatnot. Telling him what's happening and stuff. Okay, you know what? I can actually simplify this because I don't have to tell you the whole movie and stuff. The problem from this point on is that her powers are not consistent. She's doing these things that are awesome and make sense for what she can do at that time, but it doesn't make sense on what she can't do at that time because the precedent of what she already has done in such a short time. She she has access to things off of the theory that he gave before she had the powers and what she said of what her powers were doing to him after talking to him. For them, for what they said and what she had done already, she should have been able to do a lot more. And I kept thinking through the movie, okay, she's not doing these things. Maybe she can only do so much at a time. But that still calls into question all the other things she did before that. Because she was just doing things that is like, okay, well, if you had that power, then how were you not using that better or you after that? Because, like, all right, once you see that you have that power, once we see that she has that power, it's like, okay, from here on, that power is available to you. Why would it change? Why would that not? You're not losing anything. You're going forward rapidly. And so, any power you had or displayed at all, you still have later. It just makes sense to use stuff. So with the cop, whatever stuff, you walk up in there, whatever stuff. They put your hands up. She puts her hands up, drops her two fingers and stuff, and everybody except the cop drops. Okay, so then she goes to get the drugs and stuff from the bad guys, and while they're taking it out of the other people that they caught, and in that room and stuff, she's walking through and she starts levitating people. She makes them stop. She took their guns or whatever and stuff, threw the guns up and like levitated the guns, levitated them. She made a wall that the guy couldn't get past in the back who had the briefcase, walked up to him, made him not be able to move, took the briefcase. You just put to sleep a bunch of people. Everybody in that room except one is like that. It was more people in that room or whatever and stuff. And she was like, boop, and they were asleep. So walk into the room with the bad guys, boop, they go to sleep. You take the briefcase. No reason to make invisible walls, no reason to start levitating people and stuff like that. What are you doing all that for? What are you doing all that for? This is not in that world. For us, it's to see the cool stuff that she can do, the abilities and stuff, because it looks cool. But it makes no sense from her standpoint because it's like, well, why would you do all that? You got time like that? I'm sorry. I didn't know you had time to kill where you could just go and do everything you wanted to in the world or whatever and stuff like that. I thought this was an issue. I thought time was an issue from the gate. Hey, what I know? I'm just some guy watching the movie and stuff. I would handle these things different had I had these powers, but that's not me. That's her. Whatever. Whatever. And so, yeah, she just stuff like that. She changed her hair in the airport. That bothered me because it blatantly showed people in front and in back of her. Nobody batted an eye. It was pissing me off all through the movie and stuff that she was doing all these things, and I don't feel like enough people were paying attention. For our world, people freak out. People freak out at the littlest things. Way, way less alarming than somebody with blonde, curly, short hair suddenly having long black hair in an airport. In an airport, no less. People don't put up with this kind of stuff in airport. 9/11. You just can't do stuff. You can't do stuff. This stuff doesn't fly. Fly airport. You can't do stuff like that. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. Again, Jalil, just latch on to the action. Let it be that. And so you go through the movie, all these what I consider inconsistencies as far as powers and stuff and usage of them and whatnot. You get to the end, and she decides to make a computer and stuff with all her knowledge of it and stuff. So meanwhile, while she's doing this and making this computer, she's going back in time so she can get all of that information and stuff. So she'll have all this information to give in the computer. So she was a. I felt like if you can go back, why can't you go forward? But again, that might be able to be explained and stuff. I just that was a thought that popped in my mind. I never went further into the movie stuff to figure out why and stuff because she was talking about time it being the only real scale and whatnot and stuff like that. It probably has something to do with that. But okay, no, yeah, okay. And so she goes and collects all the information or whatever and stuff, and all these things are happening and stuff. And I'm like, okay, well she's making a computer or whatever, but meanwhile she's kind of becoming the computer. And so I'm thinking, okay, at some point she's gonna pop off of this thing and get busy with the fantastic action. No, no. If you were going to see this movie because of the fantastic action, you are mistaken. It's not there. You're not gonna find it. And while it was, I want to call it a decent movie, but I think that's too much. It was a decent movie for most people. For me, I had my problems, and I could. There was too much stuff that bothered me, and my expectations were high. My expectations were crazy high, and so this was a huge letdown for me. I'm very disappointed. Very disappointed. Like I take this stuff really hard. I take things really hard. I have problems with that. I got so angry that I couldn't talk. I was answering the people with me in my head, but I couldn't get past my rage to actually talk. And so the whole car ride and stuff, he was asking me, are you okay, and all that stuff, whatever. And I'm answering in my head. I'm answering them in complete sentences and explanations in my head, and I just can't actually say them out loud. And yeah, just pissing me off and stuff. It got to a point where I thought I might throw up. I was so mad, so mad. I'm less mad now. I'm less mad now because it's a movie and just whatever. It is a point to movie. But I will say this stuff. I won't be spending any money in the theaters for the rest of this year. I did say that when I came out of the theater, and I meant that, and I'm done. I'm not going back to the movies at least this year. 2014 theaters done for me. I'm done. I'm done. I don't care how long I have to wait for what movie to come out in other ways, other ways to watch that movie. I'll wait. I'll put the weight in. I'm not spending any more money. I'm not supporting this thing they do with these things. And I mean, let me even say it like that with this because this I can tell they put effort into it. I just feel like people should have been watching more closely. There should have been people like me who are really into this stuff that should have been in the room with the people making this movie to be like, hey, I'm not really sure if that makes sense. And so yeah, but the movies in general just pissing me off. They put together this crap. They put together these movies just enough so that they have a trailer that they can put out to get you to watch it. Take your money, buttload of money. Food costs $1 million and stuff. I don't even do anymore. Even if I had the money, I had over $100 in my pocket to do whatever with when I went to this theater. I won't buy popcorn. I won't buy popcorn. They give you free refills of popcorn, and I love popcorn. It's fat. I won't do it. I won't get my money. I'm done. So for 2014, because I like the experience of the theater, and so I won't say ever, but yeah, at least for the rest of 2014, I'm done with the theaters. No, not even if it's a group or something comes out that I really want to see. I'm done. Can't do it. Sorry, can't do it. Blame Hollywood. It's not me. Um, anybody who watched the movie started, because nobody's gonna not watch this movie because I said this, but if you watch this before or after, you'll see what I'm talking about. You'll notice the things that I noticed more than likely while watching this movie. I mean, some of these things are just things that bother me. Some of these things are just real problems with a movie. When you go to watch a movie like that, these are things that you expect. Consistency. Is that really too much to ask? Action. Is that really too much to ask? She couldn't beat a nigga up. She couldn't do more with the guns, or just have somebody that was somewhat closer to her level, or something like that she could do something with. A better fight of some sort. More action. The most action we probably saw and stuff was the between the cops and the bad guys in the hallway while she was making the computer. I mean, that was the nigga had a law. I was like, oh, sad. But whatever. I mean, do what you will, but you won't blame me. You won't be like, oh, why didn't you tell me about how or why it was bad? No, nigga, I got a video. You had access to it. I'm not trying to hear that. So yeah. Yep.